everybody, it's Dina again with the Rhode Island Wave newspaper and our spotlight interview show. I am here once again with Joanne Giannini, former state representative and Rhode Island Wave associate editor. Joanne, how are you today?
Good, Dina. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Happy
Joanne, what are we going
spring.
to talk about today?
Well, I've been following, we're getting into the political season. So
Hmm.
I've been following the Rhode Island, the League of Rhode Island Businesses.
Mm.
And I was really surprised. They have a page set up and they've already raised $150,000 from various donators to put up candidates for the General Assembly. So they're a nonpartisan group, and they are supporting Democrats, Republicans, Independents, whoever, to try to change the makeup of the assembly. They're focusing on issues regarding business-friendly issues and basically a different agenda than what we've been seeing currently at the State House. And, I was looking online and I was surprised to see, you know, they have an interesting group of people. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to profile them this month. Um, and I just want to read some of the names from right to left. Mark Mizrobian, Democrat, Senate, District 36. Stefano Famigletti, he recently won. He took Donnie Ruggerio's seat, Democrat, Senate, District 4. Vanessa Lopez, Senate 15. James Matavia, Senate, District 19. Weston Place, Senate, District 38. Lee Bosclair, Representative District 36. Kevin Hoyle, Representative 32. Marie Hopkins, she's a sitting rep. I think you've interviewed her before. Uh,
Yes.
she's a Republican. District 21. Jessica Drew Day, Representative 33. Jennifer Norbone, Representative 35. Jasmine Roy, and District 19, Paul Santucci, District 33, John Breen is the present rep, independent, District 49, and Lawrence Almagno, District 27. So I've got, I have like a whole thing of their pitches that's going to go on to basically, we'll have that on this month's article. And it's interesting. Dave Levesque has done a, they've only been doing this about a year, I
Mm.
think, and he's done a remarkable job in recruiting people and amazing money, and I know you interviewed him. And I think it's good. I think a challenge is good. And I think we need a change. I don't know about you, but I think something's got to give.
Well, I find it interesting that you would have thought that we would have had a lobby that was trying to get business-friendly candidates elected, but apparently not until now.
No, we didn't. And the thing is, a lot of people are afraid to take their endorsement because they are afraid of losing union endorsements. And the thing is, that's not true because Steve Famigletti, he's still got union endorsements, and he's business friendly. I mean, you can be business friendly. I mean, you don't have to keep hurting our business. And these people, obviously, this is what happened after the creation of the tolls that hurt business.
Hmm.
Creates laws like you can't run a leaf blower that hurt our landscapers. I mean, it gets to the point where it's really sickening. There were so many very, very important issues, and the truck tolls have hurt business. They've hurt Ocean State job lot. They've hurt a lot of business, and I don't know what they're thinking because we can't afford to keep losing businesses. That's the way I think, anyway. I mean, you don't want our businesses moving to Boston like Hasbro did, you
Mm.
know? So, I mean, I think that this organization is in, it's up and going, it's hot. It's hot.
Yes, yes. I definitely think we could do more to promote opportunities for people. Uh,
Yeah. And most people that run need to have funds and they need to be supported and they need to be uh, actually feel good about joining the race, that not everybody's against them, you know.
mm,
So that's one of the things that's in. The second is Happy Spring,
yes,
Easter. Easter's early. Easter's April 2nd. No,
we got our
April
spring
5th.
colors on.
I do. I have my spring colors on. It's April 5th, and so in the magazine this month, we'll probably have some recipes for us theater. If you
Mm.
don't, I'll put it in. And no, it's different things, rice pie, and all the things that make Easter so colorful. But also, it's a holy day, and it's one of those holy days and holidays that it's about the day and the food and the meaning of it, and not about the gifts. The kids get chocolate, although I don't know, who knows what people do today. I know we used to wake up and be so excited to see a chocolate bunny. What about you? Oh, a
Oh
chocolate
yeah,
bunny.
Easter, a little Easter basket
Yeah,
with
you
some
know,
chocolate in it. Absolutely.
yeah. I don't know what people do now if they buy bikes and things like
Oh,
Christmas,
jeepers creepers, right?
but it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing, and I think that we will be enjoying it. And it's as I said, a little early, but
Right.
it'll be good. It'll be good.
Well, as always, too, it's a good excuse to get the family together, sit around the big table.
When people don't do enough of that
They
these
don't.
days, it's not the same as when we were kids and we were
Mm.
younger. We had my grandmother and grandfather were alive then, and my aunts and uncles, and I mean, we had every Sunday was a holiday, really. You know, macaroni, meatballs, pot roast, homemade bread. My mother and my aunt and my grandma, they three of them would all cook, and we
Mm.
lived. We lived down one street, and we had a little passageway, and my aunt and my grandmother lived right behind us. So we were all family, and my aunt had the big kitchen, and we'd all go there. And my my poppy made homemade wine,
Mm.
you know, and and a glass of that, and you're feeling no pain.
No
It's
pain.
the best. That's the best thing in the world. I miss those days. I
Mm.
miss those days. People go out and eat now. So it's different. And so the other thing that's in coming up April, I believe it's April 2nd. They're doing these premiere parties of the Housewives of Rhode Island.
Oh
And
boy.
they're doing one at the Park Theater in Cranston, and they're doing them at different places throughout Rhode Island. Well, here's my question, and some of them are selling tickets, some of them are not. I hope they put from some of the previews, the way they swear, I don't think you certainly couldn't take children to watch it. but that's the big thing going on. And I think I saw that some politicians were having them. And I don't know if you pay to go because it doesn't have a price on there, or if it's free.
Hmm.
I don't know. But more and more places are having them, and businesses are having them. And they're on at 9 o'clock at night.
Hmm.
So they're coming on at 9. And as we said, to me, when I saw the previews and when I saw the pictures of them, and supposedly they marched in the Boston parade now,
Hmm.
St. Patrick's Day parade last week.
Hmm.
But all I could think of is that to me they all look alike. I wouldn't be able to tell one from the other. They all have dark hair. They all have the same look. And it's this kind of look that you have to have, I guess, to be one of them.
Mm.
You know, the big lips, the structure, you know. You know. But the only thing I can say, I don't think they're all Italian,
Hmm.
but we'll see. I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna go to a premiere or pay to watch it. I'll just put it on Bravo that night and see what it's about. But I've never watched any of the Housewives in any city before, so I have no idea. Well, I've heard about it, but I've never watched it. Have you?
Oh, yeah, no, it's really not my thing. I watch mostly yeah, I don't like reality TV. I've never really liked the idea of cameras being following people around in their real life.
The thing that I'm interested in is because it's from Rhode Island. I want to see what
Right.
they premiere from Rhode Island, what places they went, what they look like, the places, the image that they portray of Rhode Island. Because from the preview, it looked like Newport, and it looked like they were all filthy rich, and that's not the normal housewife in Rhode Island. Let's
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how many rich people there are in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why they have this Taylor Swift. And speaking of Taylor Swift, another
Mm.
what's end. The wedding plans are coming up, and she's supposed to get married June 13th. And she rented supposedly the whole ocean house in Westerly, which is absolute. She's got naturally she would, and the hotel and everything. And but that's going to be amazing. I don't know.
Mm.
Now they're saying, well, they don't know if it's going to be big enough. So I don't know if she's going to have one of those celebrity weddings with like 400 or 500 people, or because I don't. You probably can't fit that many unless you put a big tent outside. But
Right.
that is a gorgeous place.
Mm.
It's a gorgeous place to have a wedding, unless they saying this and then they'll just scurry you off to an island somewhere, you know?
Right. Well, she's earned the right to do whatever she wants, so uh
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, they work, she works hard. She works hard. She's talented. She writes her own
right.
music, songs, and good luck to them. And whatever publicity, Rhode Island's getting a lot of publicity. Whatever
Mm.
publicity that they give us, that's all the better. So
Absolutely.
so those are the things that are in. And I always have something that's out, unfortunately. Not that I'm just wanting to say what's really out in Providence and Cranston, okay? So
Mm.
we have here home invasions, okay?
Mm.
Shortly after 2 p.m., Providence police, let me see, I have to make this bigger, because responded to a report of a home invasion on Melrose Street in the Elmwood section of the city. This is another night. Police said they met with the female victim and her juvenile daughter, and whoever it was broke into the house, unidentified, two men, unidentified, wearing masks, and they had a gun. Imagine how scary that is, okay? But the mayor says there's no crime, this is the least crime. Then, okay, let's go on to what happened last night on
Mm.
Sawyer. I think it's Sawyer Street in the Elmwood section. Uh, four people were stabbed.
Mm.
3:30 in the morning, they were having a party,
Hmm.
and three people are in serious condition that was stabbed, and one is in, I said, they said critical condition, and one is, yes, stable. So, four males, and they arrived there and found them wounded on the porch. So basically, that's another thing going on. You've been hearing a lot about it, stabbings and home invasions in the city, and also in Cranston, carjacking. Okay, carjacking. I mean, there's nothing scarier than when you pull up to a red light and someone tries to carjack your car. Okay, um, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you think about it, it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. Unfortunately, it's not new. I think that there's always been people out there who are desperate and will do terrible things to get what they want.
And the other thing is, everyone runs when they run for office. They run on a platform of
Mm.
anti-crime in this state. They run on a platform of
Well,
anti.
imagine if they ran on a platform that they were pro-crime. That would be
Well,
terrible.
the way they make laws against the police, you would think they were pro-crime. I mean, not for anything. You're telling the police how to do their job. You've never
True.
been to any kind of a training, but yet you're making city ordinance in Providence and in other cities that the police cannot go near ICE or interfere with ICE. And the latest thing in Providence, if you ever worked for ICE, you can't become a Providence police officer.
Huh.
That's what they're going to put through. I think it's out of control.
Mm.
Okay. I don't think there are enough of people that are like us anymore. That when we were younger, we respected the police. And I find it very hard for the police to do their job. I support the
Mm.
police. And I don't think, and it's not just because I was married to a police officer. I am married to a former police officer. And he was, it's not just for that, it's the idea. How can you make laws about a profession that you know nothing about?
Right.
And um, it's the same thing in other cities and towns, and you're seeing it more. But Providence is really the culprit of it. They're making these things. No ICE. So now, if you ever worked for ICE, and you could be the best guy in the world, but you can't be. They want to say you can't be a Providence police officer. It's outrageous. And when are we going to get some normal people?
Well, it would be better if everybody learned to talk to each other and they actually had meetings and put their ideas on the table and then came out up with ideas. That's what we used to do back in the day. People used to
Yeah,
hash out their ideas and say, "Oh, well, that's a good idea," but in other words, you could be support the police without supporting a police state. It's
I
like
don't.
it doesn't have to be one extreme or the other, uh, you know, but unfortunately, these are the choices that we're left with is that, we got one extreme wanting to get rid of police altogether, And then we got the other extreme wanting us to live in a police state.
State, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so
you know, you don't want people abusing their power, but you don't
right.
want them abusing it on either side of the coin, you know.
Exactly. Well,
And
I do think you get to a point where people feel like really entitled to say whatever they want whenever they want. And yeah, you can say whatever you want whenever you want, providing you're willing to deal with the consequences. Uh,
yeah, I mean, if I'll give you an example, these officers have to go to this kind of fight at 3:30 in the morning. You don't know who you're going to run into, comes out with a gun and a knife. You know, you're drinking a house call a rowdy party, and you arrive there, and there's people seriously injured, and you don't know who's going to come out and shoot you or stab you. I mean, this is the job that they have, but it wasn't always as bad as this. And it's like people, I was listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was on The View, and I never watched that, but they put that on the news, a clip of him. They were proving a point. And he said, I am so happy when I came to this state, this country, he said. They were so good to me. He
mm,
said, he has a very strong accent. I had a very strong accent. I was a young man. I was 21 years old. He said, when you come to this country, you are a guest. When you are a guest in someone's home, you behave. If you
mm,
cannot behave, you go home to where you came from. And I think he's one of the few actors that talk like that.
right.
And they were taken aback because, they're anti everything. And so many people are anti-police today. Okay, they have
Mhm.
no idea what it's like, and they have no idea what it entails. And I'm just kind of sick of it. It gets to the point where, um, but when they're in trouble, who
Hmm.
do they call?
That's
When
right.
they need them, who do they call? And it's kind of reverse discrimination to make laws like that because you're judging the whole bunch of apples the same, and it's just not right. But that's what's going on. And I don't know, we've talked about this before. You can't have, and we don't want a police state, but I don't think we have a police state. Well, we're going the other way, where they're going to make the police afraid to do their job. You keep
Right.
making these kind of things going on here. And I bet you not one of them have ever been married or to a police officer or know anything about it, or they wouldn't be making laws like that.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on that. And
Well, they certainly shouldn't be able to make those laws without consulting, and getting some more information. Is
they
is
have more ordinances going in, and some of them are so really ridiculous. And um, we have two candidates for mayor in Providence, both
Mhm.
very liberal. Uh, I don't know what's going to happen. One just says one thing, and then the other one goes a step further. And it seems that the days of common sense and being in the middle are over. Okay. And the other thing I want to talk about are the potholes. Okay. I mean, somebody give me a break over here, but what? I got to show you this picture. It was on Facebook, and like I said, in the articles, I'll show you something in the article about it. But this girl, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because I'm trying to blow it up, but it's a mermaid. They dug a hole. Now you can see it, everybody, right? Look at this. This is real. This was done in Coventry, Rhode Island.
Right.
Isn't that something? She dressed as a mermaid and sat, and that is a hole. And so
Well, we did get more snow than ever in our lifetimes. And then we got two of those storms back to back. So I don't know.
we did get more snow, but we always get more potholes after the
It kills
winter.
the roads. What are you gonna do?
But I think, uh, let's put it this way. Instead of getting signs, paying for signs, $3,000, or I think that's how much the signs were, to post all over the city, keep ice out, and then
I
the
did
mayor,
see those. Those are ridiculous.
listen to this. The mayor got a call that ice was at a school this week, and he went running over to the school, and it wasn't ICE, it was the state police.
Oh,
We have yet to find out what the state police were doing there, because they don't want you to know that. But when he got there, they said, ICE isn't here. I mean, but he went running like, what was he think he was going to do? I mean, what was he going to do? I want to know what he was going to do. So they $3,000 for that. I'd rather see the money go to something in city services. Get rid of the graffiti. There's
yes, the
graffiti all over.
graffiti and enforce the ordinances we already have. Like my neighbor who leaves his trash in the street all the time because he can.
Because he can get away with it.
He can get away with it. He
You
doesn't know.
know,
I've called the city every day this month to complain.
they built all these islands. I have one on the Parkway. There's one on the Parkway. So the councilwoman, she built the island right in front of her house. And there's all plants and trees in it and everything. So twice, somebody coming down the Parkway hit it, bounced into my wrought iron fence. 2 times I had to fix my fence, get a new, because it dented. Not to mention that, and it's amazing they didn't get hurt neither time. They crashed their car, but they didn't get hurt. But a lot of people have hit this island, and I'm trying to figure, what is this island for? And so when Mayor Smiley ran, I expressed my concern. There goes that. I mean, everybody's going to do everything when they are running, believe me. But once they get elected, they forget about it. So the shot of that coming down, forget it. But
Forget
it's
about
a
it.
it's a problem. Even the snow plows, I think, have a hard time getting through. But why are we wasting money on that? Why are we doing that? I mean, there's speed bumps everywhere. There's 5 speed bumps on Pleasant Valley Parkway. I don't know about in your neck of the
Oh,
woods.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, and if you don't see that and you hit that, you damage the bottom of your car. And
Right.
I would just love to see the claims that went into the city from people. But it's city services, like, they used to clean the streets. They used to get rid of the graffiti. The trash pickup is important, and everyone wants their trash picked up regularly, and if not, you have a mess. But the services have to be key, I think,
Right.
when you have to vote for somebody. But and we'll see what happens. But it's kind of we're almost at the end. We're in spring, and we don't want any more snow,
No more
right?
snow, please.
You like my roses?
Beautiful.
Uh, it was my birthday this week, and my husband, I love roses. They're my
Nice.
favorite. They're my favorite.
He's a good guy.
So, and plus I ate so much pastry. Oh God. But anyway, on to our favorite holiday coming up. So would be Easter, and that'll be a good thing. And
I
then
love spring. My crocus are already the crocus are coming up under where the snow was, and all my flowers are budding. I mean the trees are all got they're tiny, little tiny buds, but they're there.
the other thing, okay, so preview what's going to be big in the paper this month. So you got we started to talk about your guest.
Oh my guess. Yes, I was a little bit under the weather, so I haven't done any videos in a little bit, but I do have a few coming up. I have I have Ashley Cullis, who was a former candidate for governor. She's not running again, but it should be interesting to find out what she's up to. Um, I'm gonna do a little video with John Parada and a fella by the name Lorne Adrain. He's got something interesting going on. Um, but I have we have a bunch of really good stories, as always, things going on in April,
That's
May.
good. I can't wait to see that mermaid picture in there. The colors on there are so good. But I want to actually wish everyone a happy Lent season. I'm going to make the sign of the cross. And for everything that I said that may have offended anyone, I don't mean it. But
Right?
sometimes you have to say how you feel, and wish everyone a happy Palm Sunday
Mm.
and a happy Easter. And you know, the palm, the old Italian custom, if there's someone you're upset with, you're supposed to go to them and give them a palm. That's what you're supposed to do, guys. So if there's someone that you hurt or want to make up with, you get the palm, go bring
Yeah.
it to them. And so, and I think that's about it. I talked enough. If you
There
have
you go.
anything to add.
I'm good. I think I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for visiting with me and putting your column together. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Ciao,
All
everybody.
right. Hey, everybody. It's Dina again with the Rhode Island Wave newspaper and the Spotlight interview series. And I am here with a business owner and Rhode Islander, David Levesque. You may know him from Brood Awakenings. David, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
David, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been employed at Brood Awakening, started it 29 years, 2 months ago.
Wow.
So I'm a long time, or I tell people a short time, Rhode Island business owner for 29 plus years. And we run 3 cafes now in Rhode Island. We're about to open up another one, hopefully soon. We're working on in Cranston. And we're just a good hometown coffee shop for people to hang around in.
All right, so a lot of you know Brood Awakenings, but that's not why we have David here today. David is going to tell us about another venture that he started, and it's called the League of Rhode Island Businesses. So, David, tell us about that.
Yeah, so the League of Rhode Island Businesses is formed because we don't have a fair shake-up at the State House. And I mean that from a stance of people sitting in the House and people sitting in the Senate. We want to get people to be middle of the road, common sense legislation to be put together. So in trying to fight off a previous bill, we found out that there wasn't a fair shake there. So we decided to take this organization to the next level and create additional PACs so that we could raise funds to go out and find people to primary mostly and fight in the general against anybody that's not doing the job up there, that's not paying attention, or that's passing unconstitutional bills or laws. We'll primary them and put new people in office.
And when you say we, you're talking about businesses, business friendly.
Yeah, yep. It's business people. It's people that work for businesses, individuals. Really, anybody can join, anybody can donate. But it started out with a lot of business people was the beginning of it. So League of Rhode Island Businesses.
Wonderful. So you want to make sure that the legislation is and the legislatures are pro-business and they understand.
We do. We want to make sure that they're pro-business, lower taxes, less regulation. And we want to have Rhode Island to be a business-friendly state, and it doesn't rank as a business-friendly state. The system's complex. There's different rules and fees and systems between city to city, which makes it complicated. High taxes, and we want to change that.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And so I understand it's nonpartisan. So you don't care if you're red or blue. You just care if you care about businesses.
We go a step further. We don't care if you're red, blue. We don't care if you're independent, libertarian. All we care about is that you're following the Constitution that you swear an oath to. The Constitution, that's your guideline. And then under that guideline, you do what's right by the constituents in your district. If you're doing that, then you're doing the right thing. When you get to the extremes or outside of that and you start to pass unconstitutional laws, create a budget like we have right now in Rhode Island that's 14 plus billion, and it's over that, and they have a shortfall of 400 million, and they're not going to go up next session and say, hey, how do we reduce this so we can help you out? They're going to go up next session and say, hey, how do we tax you more? And unfortunately, we can't continue to have that happen. You go 4 years back, 5 years back, we had an $8 billion budget, maybe close to 9. And now all of a sudden it went up. It went up during COVID. It's supposed to be temporary. Now all of a sudden we're over 14 billion. And in a year or two, they're going to be 15 billion. It's unacceptable.
Yes, unacceptable. So how do we get involved? You have a website, the League of Rhode Island, RI, just RI, League of RI Businesses.com.
Yep.
And how can somebody get involved in what you're doing?
Literally, they can go to our website, the League of Rhode Island Businesses.com. They can sign up, send their information in. Beginning of next year, we're going to have a formal structure for dues and membership for people to join. But right now, they can just go join and send their information. We'll put them on our mailing list, which we're going to start a monthly newsletter in January telling people what we're doing. This whole organization is new. You know, we're within the last 5 or 6 months by putting the whole thing together. We've made major progress since then. Combined all the way through, we raised over 100,000 already, which is substantial for a group like this. By having all these PACs, it really gives us the ability to fund a lot of candidates once people get involved. So obviously donating is a big part of it. Whether it's $10, $200, $2,000, or someone could donate all the way up to $80,000 if they have those resources, and that's giving $2,000 the max to every PAC. But literally just by going to the website and filling out the form, once they do that, whether they donate or not, we'll put them on the mailing list and keep them involved.
That's wonderful. Now, I did notice on your website, you already have started with some candidates you're endorsing.
We have.
So they're getting going. And so if you want to be involved in this, this is a ground breaking, brand new organization to help get the businesses some support for business-friendly candidates.
It is. And like we said from the beginning, we're nonpartisan. We've never talked about what party anybody's in, who they've supported. All we care about is common sense, people coming together. We'll be working with independents, Republicans, Democrats, all the way through, hopefully some libertarians too, to get in there. The first 3 fully endorsed candidates that we have are all pro-moderate Democrats, pro-business Democrats, looking to go up there and do what's right for their constituents by reducing the budget and making common sense laws.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds fantastic.
It is.
Well, I wish you a lot of luck. I think that whenever you're going to start a new endeavor, it is quite a task. But there you have it. If you've been out there and you're thinking this state isn't business friendly, and rather than complain about it on Facebook, you can go to the League of Rhode Island, RI, not spelled out, I'll have it up here, League of RI Businesses.com, and you can get involved.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. We hope everybody does.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Hey
Thank
everybody,
you.
it's Dina with the Rhode Island Wave newspaper and our On the Spot interview series. Today I have Kelly Nevins, who is the CEO of the Women's Fund of Rhode Island. Kelly, tell us a little bit about what is that? What does that mean? What is the Women's Fund of Rhode Island?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization whose mission is to invest in women and girls. We do this through research, advocacy, grant making, and strategic partnerships. And we just have this little goal of achieving gender equity through systemic change. And people are like, oh, that's a lot of words. What does that mean? We are working to close the gender, wage, wealth, health, and power gaps that exist in the state of Rhode Island. At the very base of it is we want to make sure that women are paid the same as men for doing the same types of jobs.
That's wonderful. So how do we go about doing that?
Well, we do a couple of different things. As I said, we do research. So we look at how women compare to men throughout the state of Rhode Island on the economy, the types of jobs they have, the types of education level, their health status, and also their civic engagement. And then we make policy recommendations to help to ensure that everybody has an equitable chance to thrive in the state. So we have done things like help to pass paid family leave. This past year, we expanded paid family leave. And just so folks know, the work that we do doesn't just help women and girls, it really helps everyone. So paid family leave, anybody who is welcoming a new child into their family, whether it's an adopted child or a child that's been born or who is caring for a seriously ill family member, can take advantage of that. So you can be a man and benefit from
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
So yeah, we work on policy initiatives that help to ensure that everyone can thrive in the state of Rhode Island.
Okay, so when you say you work on policy, so you figure some stuff out, and then you kind of like send this up the pipeline to the legislatures,
Yeah.
so that they have some input.
Yes, also we teach leadership and advocacy. So we have a 9-month training program called the Women's Policy Institute. This program teaches people how state laws get made. The folks who go through the program get to learn about how do you write pieces of legislation, how do you find sponsors for that legislation, how do you testify up at the State House, what do you do when a bill doesn't look like it's going to go to the floor for a vote. And through this program, the people who participate really get to meet community leaders, including our legislators, but also folks who are helping to educate on different topics. And by this program and also our Advocacy 101 program, we really teach people how to be engaged in how things move in our state.
Wonderful. So that's a program you can sign up for.
It is. Yes.
So you'd go to your website and
sure. It is a 9-month program, so it runs on an academic calendar year.
Okay.
So we actually will start taking applications for that program in April, May, and June, and the next class will kick off in late August.
Wonderful.
But in the meantime, we do things like teach Advocacy 101. We also teach self-advocacy, so we teach salary negotiation skills, as an example. And those types of programs, if people are interested, they can reach out. They are part of a community organization where they'd like to have us come in and teach that to a group. We would be happy to do that.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple ways you can work this out. So what else?
Sure. So many things. Yeah. So we do research. We teach leadership and advocacy. We're a grant maker. And so we make grants to other organizations that we are partnering with to work towards goals that we think are important in the community. And next year is our 25th anniversary. So we'll have a very exciting year where we'll be working on some specific initiatives. We are partnering with organizations and coalitions like the Voter Access Coalition to make sure that Rhode Island voter access, there will be a Rhode Island voter rights bill that's going through the State House that we will be supporting. So that's a very important bill to us. We'll also be looking at how do we make sure that childcare is accessible, good quality, and affordable for Rhode Island parents. We're concerned about housing affordability, and so we'll be looking at a variety of bills that are related to that. Also RIPTA, so that's sort of the legislative suite of things that we'll be focused on. We will, let's see, in 2025, because it's an election year, we'll be hosting a gubernatorial debate, a debate for folks who are running for governor will be partnering with the League of Women Voters on that. So lots of exciting things in the works for next year.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful organization to get involved with. Now, are you looking for volunteers, people to get involved? How's that work out?
Yeah, so we're actually kicking off a new volunteer committee in 2026 because we often do have people who come to us and say, I want to do something, and we're never quite sure how to best put them to work. We always have used volunteers to plan our special events and fundraisers, and if folks have an interest in that, we have a committee for that. We have a policy and advocacy committee where folks who are interested in legislation can volunteer to help us on some of the pieces of legislation that I just named. But this new volunteer committee will be starting to put together perhaps monthly drive opportunities, food drives, clothing drives, maybe working on some special initiatives to help us promote our 25th year. Basically, the committee is going to come together and pitch different ways that they can be involved, and we'll find ways to make sure that we're leveraging the great skills that they have to bring to the table.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we also do, it's not a volunteer opportunity, but it's something that folks have been involved with us for. It's a feminist activist book club, and every 6 weeks, the book club switches off between a nonfiction and a fiction book that talks about some issue that impacts women and girls. And so the January book that will be discussed is a book by Bell Hooks, which is called Feminism is for Everybody. So if folks have an interest in joining the book club, there's no cost. It's a hybrid meeting, so folks can either be physically present to discuss the book or Zoom in. We've been really lucky to have local women authors who have come in and talked about the books that they have written. So we will continue to have a list of really great books to read in 2026.
Okay, so now I have a big question.
Yeah.
So are men welcome?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. So just like the title of Bell Hooks' book, Feminism is for Everyone, we really believe that a community that is more equitable for everyone means that everybody has an opportunity to thrive. So many times people think that like feminism might mean man-hating or men aren't welcome. That is not true. We have a lot of great events. In fact, we have a whole committee of men. They have called themselves PACT, and that means Partners Advancing Change Together. They're actually putting together an event in March at Topgolf, where men will be helping to teach women to golf as an opportunity to, again, level the playing field.
Wonderful.
There's not as many women who golf, for example.
Yes, and a lot of deals happen out in that golf cart.
That's right. Some other great events that we have for 2026 include Elevate Your Career, which is an opportunity to hear from women leaders about their career path. Men are absolutely welcome to come into that event. Everybody wants to learn about different ways to achieve different levels of leadership. We just happen to be centering women leaders at that event, but men are absolutely welcome. And that's true for all of our events.
Well, that is wonderful to know. I do think that the idea of feminism does get a bad rap. It doesn't mean anti-man.
Right.
And we just wanted to be a little more even.
Yes, that's right. That's right. The good news is in some aspects that we are getting closer to a more equitable Rhode Island. We know, for example, that in our State House General Assembly, 45% of our leaders in the General Assembly are women. Women make up 51% of the population, so we still have a little bit of ways to go. When we say that it's important to have more women at the table where decisions are made and resources are allocated, it doesn't matter what political party you're part of. Making sure that there's equitable representation just means that people have a variety of life experiences that are being taken into account as decisions are being made. So if there's not equitable representation based on what our population looks like, that means that we're missing out on hearing perspectives that can really inform the way our community works.
Yes, yes, and it's good to hear a lot of different voices, so we get just a better system for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you. What got you? Where are you from, and what got you involved in this?
Sure. Well, I'm from Illinois, but I came out to Rhode Island a long time ago to go to college. I went to URI. When I was graduating from URI, I went to school at a time when internships weren't a thing, and certainly paid internships were not a thing. I thought that I wanted to go into public relations, but unfortunately, no public relations firm would hire me without experience.
Right.
So I thought I'm one of those people who really like can figure out ways to get things done, even if it's not the straight path. And I thought, oh, well, public relations is about events and building relationships. Maybe I'll go do special events for nonprofits. And so that is how I got my start in the nonprofit career track in Rhode Island. I worked for many years with United Way. I ran an organization called the Volunteer Center of Rhode Island. I did a lot with a variety of nonprofits and really learned about how to manage nonprofits and about fundraising. At some point, I got connected with the Women's Fund of Rhode Island and just was so impressed with the organization and the folks who were connected to it. And I told friends, actually, someday I'd like to run the Women's Fund. And after a couple of years after saying that, I had the opportunity and I was hired. And I've been here, well, in 2025 or 2026, when it is our 25th anniversary, it will be 10 years of my time with the organization.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So if you're looking for something to get involved with in the new year, if you're bored, you should not be bored. We have lots of wonderful organizations, and Women's Fund of Rhode Island is one of those organizations that you can get involved with and hit the ground running and help make Rhode Island more. I always think women's issues are family issues
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Make it a more family friendly world we live in.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I forgot one more thing that is going to be really exciting in 2026. You're partnering with Scouts, Girls on the Run, the Women Project, and Rhode Island for Community and Justice in launching Rhode Island's very first Girls Coalition. We're doing it with funding from the Rhode Island Foundation, so thank you, Rhode Island Foundation. But we will be really diving deep into some of the issues that face Rhode Island girls going forward. We know from a report that we published earlier this year that girls' mental health is definitely an issue in our state, as is healthy relationships. So some of the things that Women's Fund of Rhode Island will be working on particularly, but more broadly through the Rhode Island Girls Coalition. So if you have daughters, know that we are, working on helping them to thrive as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah, send your girls to Girl Scouts and all that other fun stuff, and keep them active. Because the boys have the football and they've got all sorts of sports, and it's wonderful, but the girls need to have some of those kind of activities so that they can have those relationships and they bond, friendships that last forever.
Yep. We'll be, again, focusing on really positive mental health techniques. Youth depression and youth mental health is really a challenge right now across the country, but also in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna down on the internet. I do love it myself, but at some point we got to get off the internet and go get busy, get active inside your body, doing the fun stuff that the girl kinds of organizations like the Girl Scouts and organizations like that can get you involved with.
Absolutely.
And Boy Scouts, of course, if you're a boy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it was very nice meeting you. Congratulations on your anniversary, your 10-year anniversary, their 25th anniversary.
Yes.
And keep up the good work. And I hope we can send some people your way to be part of your organization and see what's going on.
Fabulous.